Hey, what's up everybody? It's Kellen here from Start Your Systems and welcome back to MXGP Pro Career Mode, where today I'm actually going to continue with my standard career mode instead of the extreme career, which I'm doing on a Suzuki 250 this time with Garda sponsoring me. And we are moving on to round 2 of the series. I went 7-1 at the opener for second. And I'm on realistic physics, realistic difficulty, manual gearbox, like the whole 9 yards. So it's basically the extreme career mode. I just don't have to do the whole qualifying race or practicing or anything like that. It's just both races and then we're out of here. So this is going to be Pangkal Pinang, Indonesia race, and jumping straight into race number 1. I have no idea about this track. I haven't played it not once, so this is going to be pretty fun. Looking forward to it, and here we go. Take advantage of everybody swinging wide, try to get down to the inside here. So doing this video when I'm doing it actually works out perfectly because they just actually raced this track in real life last weekend. So I can kind of play this and talk about the real life race that just happened here. It looks like they have, this is probably wet track for this, unless this is just a standard normal track because it rains all the flipping time in Indonesia. Oh my goodness. I hate when you get going that it takes forever to shift. And another thing that I haven't really talked about yet, but obviously some of you have brought up on the channel, is that the rear tire spins at a different speed than reality, which is really weird. I noticed that actually a little bit with MXGP 3. It would happen, or I'm sorry, not MXGP 3, with Monster Energy Supercross, the game. It would happen on replays, not during the actual gameplay, but on replays the tire would be spinning slower than reality. Kind of a lame thing. Like, I wish that they would work on that because it looks like it's always spinning the same constant speed, which kind of gives like this false floating effect look. But I don't know, I guess it's not a deal breaker for me. Still pretty much enjoying the gameplay aspect of it though. I feel like the gameplay feels really fluid and smooth. Visually speaking, it's the best looking motocross game I think I've ever played. I think it has a better visual aspect to it than All Out. And makes the GP scene look really nice, even though I don't really I'm not on board the train of them going to Indonesia. I don't really like it. I think it's kind of lame. I actually read that apparently Jeffrey Hurlings and was it Jonas he was flying with, or maybe it was Prado, or I forget. It was one of the other Red Bull KTM guys. They had to have like an emergency landing while landing in Indonesia for this GP this past weekend. The conditions were very hazardous and the landing gear got locked or something like that, to the point where like the tire wouldn't spin, and they do like a whole get fire engines on the runway thing. And I mean, that stuff's scary, like it's kind of ridiculous that they have these guys, world-class athletes, travel to a place that I wouldn't necessarily say has world-class facilities. No offense to Indonesia, but like, come on, like we should, there's plenty of other great facilities. They don't even go to the USA this year, for example, in the 2018 MXGP season. Come on with this crashing. And I don't know, like they don't go to Australia. I don't think they go to Japan, although there is a GP of Asia, which I think is again in Indonesia this week. It's just like, why? Like, I understand, staying cheap and that some rich billionaire in Indonesia is probably paying to have this race put on, but I just don't see it. I think that they should rethink the Indonesia trips. They don't go to Thailand anymore, and I think that's the right move. I think they should go somewhere where motocross is actually, very popular and they have proper facilities to host it on. I'm not saying that Indonesian fans aren't great and have, a dying love for motocross. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there. I'm just saying, Indonesia is a little bit behind on a lot of the needed amenities to help some of these guys out. I mean, I remember hearing about when they used to have the GP in Thailand, for example, and they had a race where there's this really hot day. Several riders getting heat exhaustion and getting very poor medical attention because the hospitals there weren't really up to snuff. Like that's unacceptable for a world championship. You know, F1 goes to some extravagant places, but they're all super rich places. Like I just, like I said, not on board with the Indonesia thing. That being said, it always seems to provide some kind of random results, I would say, going to these types of tracks, because A, it rains 90% of the races that they have there, and B, none of the riders really know what to expect with the, you know, the dirt or any of that. Like, yeah, they have gone back to Pengkal Penang 2 years in a row, but my goodness, if you guys ever watch the GP at those races, like the dirt looks like it's from a different land. It's pretty unique looking. The way that it roughens, it's kind of like got like a pretty hard looking clay base to it as well. So the ruts dig in really deep. It's, like I said, it looks almost otherworldly. All right, come on, got to keep up here. I'm trying to win this MX2 World Championship. Can't keep letting freaking Jonas win all the races. He won the first race of the year. Seems like the AI, although they were very tough at Qatar, are maybe a little easier here. Like, I haven't had much of a problem getting around all these guys, at least so far. Knock on wood, second moto they're gonna be like on steroids. And these jumps, man, they're unclearable. I don't get it. I have played this game a little bit on a 450, so I do know that, you know, oh, there we go. Finally got over a tabletop. Just a couple things they need to clean up with it is all I'm saying. I've been all happy-go-lucky with the game at the beginning because I'm an optimist, I would say, especially when it comes to games that I have a vested interest in, like motocross games, because I am a huge motocross fan. And a lot of the things I've seen in this game are a positive step. I like the way that the ground physics work, although it doesn't look that great, I would say. Like, watching it back on videos, sometimes I'm kind of like, but I promise you the feel of it is kind of like a good, unique feel. And, you know, people are trying to say, well, the ruts don't really work. I can tell you that some of the things that I bank off of in corners and stuff, like, it's really there. Like, the tires are actually hitting something, and, you know, if you experiment around the outsides a little bit, hit some embankments, it really helps. Like, it's kind of useful that you actually have to go, like, pick lines, and you can make new lines that other guys aren't taking. Like, the AI is a little monotonous. They kind of hit the same lines over and over again, so that's a little bit dumb, but it also is pretty clear that most of the track is used up. It's a very tight track, but it's not like there isn't ruts and all that other stuff kind of sprawled across the track. Now we're gonna get by Jonas here. And into the lead we go, so we're gonna pick up the win here by the looks of it. Or not, of course, I would crash right after I say that. I feel like the way that they have the resets happen, where you're basically wide open, clicking through gears and going nowhere, it feels very car racing game-ish. I think this is the finish line right here, so I'm not gonna make it. Is this the finish line? No, where is the finish line? Oh, it's that thing over by the grandstands. Oh, I could still win this race. Oh, that was really like a cheap move, but you know what? I wanted to win the race. Just gonna send it. Yeah, the finish line's over here. It's alright, I'll take the inside because they don't know this line exists. Oh, don't slide out. Okay. Woo! Got it. victory is
Race 1
mine.
has just ended, and riders are going back to their mechanics.
All right, so race 1 complete. Got 25 points out of that one. Achieved my goals, but did not get the whole shot. Of course I wouldn't, because I'm starting way on the outside, and for some reason I get terrible jumps in this game. This time I'm going to try to time the gate and see if I can't grab a whole shot.
The seconds board is shown. The track is clear.
Okay, this guy's getting a little... He's getting hyped, man. He's on this game. He's ready to go. I didn't get it. It's alright, like I said, get down to the inside. And still come out, what, 5th? Round the outside, and into the lead we go. Loving it. Hit the gate, already in the lead. Fairly unrealistic. Oh, and then are the lines still on the track, or is that just my brain playing tricks on me? Looks like some of the lines are still there. Or is that just how it was, and I wasn't in first last time through to know? Probably was like that, and I just am not paying much attention. Either way, it looks like they just ran a moto on the track, which is kind of a cool look to it. Alright, so we are out of here. I'm gonna go win this thing because I'm trying to get this championship lead wrestled away from Jonas, and he went 1-2 at the opener, and I had to go freaking 8-1 or 7-1, which was good enough for second overall, but still lost a huge chunk of points. So a 1-1 in Indonesia would be quite useful. Ah yes, one thing I forgot to mention is you may have watched the video of me playing the training part of this game. I don't know what you call it, training area, which is doing little like missions, I would say it's called, to like level up your character. And you can actually feel it. I feel like my cornering, my braking, I don't know about the starts, but clearly the scrubbing, like I can throw it harder and bring it back quicker. Still kind of looks a little wonky with the scrubbing, but it does help. It's noticeable how much like quicker and more agile things are in this now, having done that. So, like I said, it really does help. That video does not lie to you. So I could take the second moto of this race to kind of direct some of my comments towards some of the comments I have seen. And I want to start off with a couple people on the channel, not many, but a couple people have commented and said, why am I giving this game, you know, positive words, and it looks like trash? And my rebuttal to that is that's a subjective opinion. I feel like some people are really enjoying this game and have positive things to say about it. I'm not saying I'm in love with this game, but I am saying that I think that some of the things they did are a positive step. Other things they need to improve on, and they will work on those things. You know, I've said it 1,000 times, but nobody's ever going to make the perfect motocross game. It's not going to happen. You know, I love MX Simulator. It is not the perfect motocross game. There's a lot of things that could be fixed about it, namely the graphics, but even physics-wise, there's things that are off. MX Bike's the same way. If the perfect motocross game existed, then we're done. We would be done. There would be no new video game. That guy, whoever made that game, that company or that guy, would just be able to, you know, release updates to that game year after year and win over the market because it's the best motocross video game ever. But it's not out there. It's not out there for, you know, soccer. There's no, you know, super realistic soccer game. There's no super realistic, you know, there's a couple like super realistic car racing games, but they're still not exactly perfect, and that's just the, you know, pursuit of progression. And, you know, people saying, oh, we're in 2018 and we have this garbage. It's like, please go back and look at some of the games we were playing 10 years ago. Like, it is uncomparable. They are not even in the same ballpark because the differences are massive. Yes, the physics in some of those games were more fun to play, but like I said with Monster Energy Supercross the game and with this now is that Milestone has definitely done what they can to go towards the more realistic atmosphere. It's a video game. There's still going to be things that are very unrealistic about it, but for the most part, especially now with this game and the fall-off crashes when you land too hard, you can't just jump to the moon and come back down and land no problem. So like I said, just little aspects like that they, it shows that they're working on it. It's not going to change overnight, and that's where I'm giving my positivity towards the game about it. Now, are there things to fix? Of course. I'm not saying it's the best game ever, play it. I'm saying you should play it and you should support the community, but there are things that need to be improved on. And as I go through career mode in this, as with any other game I've played in the Milestone series, I will touch on those things that I feel like need improving. I did in this video already by saying the rear tire needs to be spinning faster, and of course they need to work on air physics, but they're not going to get there until they get whatever else that they want accomplished completely accomplished. It looks like they really made huge graphical improvements here. That's great. Now we can just leave the graphics as is, move on towards physics, right guys? I hate that I have to do this argument every year, is talk people off the ledge about these video games, and it's it's a video game. Just the fact that we have it. My brother is 8 years older than me, and growing up, he had not even close to the same video games I had. I had some really great video games in my childhood, and my brother was right at the tail end of PlayStation coming out. He was still playing video games. He obviously had SNES, a Sega Dreamcast, things like that. And then we got Sony PlayStation. We got games like Supercross Circuit and Jeremy McGrath's Supercross 98, and then Motocross Madness and stuff like that on the PC. We grew up in a bitchin' time when it comes to motocross video games, and this next generation coming through, the 8 years or so behind me or even further, I feel are almost kind of spoiled. When I pick up and play these games, I'm my God, I remember what it was like to play with a character that, it was really, really cool if you could downside a double somewhere. That felt super realistic to you. But for the most part, you're just kind of smashing into things and hoping it would work. But this game is, it's got fairly realistic gravity. It's got, at least some type of air physics. It's got cornering mechanisms. It's got starting. The starts in the old games used to be just wide open and the gate dropped and you go. It's just, like I said, you just have to, kind of take a step back from it all for a little bit and just be thank goodness someone's making these games, because for a while nobody was, and now they're back, and they're not perfect, but they're good and they're fun to play. Why am I so, why would I get, I don't get why I get hated on because I enjoy playing these video games. Okay, you don't like playing it, I'm sorry, but I do, and other people do. And I think that other people like watching me play it occasionally, or at least I hope you do. I mean, I don't necessarily know exactly why some of you do or do not click on videos on this channel, but I would hope that it's because you enjoy, on some level me, or at least the content of stuff that I'm playing, which of course I greatly appreciate. And if you don't, then just move on, play a different game. It doesn't, I don't know. Of course, you're more than welcome to voice your opinion. I actually enjoy the fact that I get to see, as many reviews as I do, both positively and negatively about these games, because it would be, kind of lame to just see only the, positive stuff the whole time. But I don't know. I'm just kind of talking around the subject here of, step back, enjoy the game for what it is. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to have an enjoyable experience on a video game. So anyway, it's kind of my little rant of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. Gonna be moving forward with the standard career from here, and I hope you guys enjoy watching the series as it moves forward. But for now, I am heading on out. So Kellen here on Start Your Systems. I'll check you guys in the next video, but so long for now.